Hello and welcome to the C# Programmer. In this video, we're going to start creating a web application, a Blazor web assembly application that is going to be able to perform CRUD operations. That's create, read, update, and delete operations on the database. Okay, so I'm sure there are several articles which say you have to use Blazor Saver if you want to do that, but Blazor WASM also does the thing. So this is the web application that we're going to try to build. So there's everything. We can update, we can create, we can delete, and we can okay, sorry about that. Yeah, and we can read data. So right now the data is loading. The web application is trying to load from the database, and there we have some data. Okay, so let's try to insert just a name. Okay, so we're just gonna insert a name like let's say, okay, so we've entered that there. We can enter a last name, um, then we can enter a program. So let's say the program is, yeah, something like that. Okay, so I guess you can see this is something like a web application where we're entering students, just something simple but something to demonstrate that we can use Blazor WebAssembly to do CRUD operations. So I guess you can see we've created that person there. We can delete, and we can also edit this guy's name. So let's say we made a mistake. It's supposed to be maybe something like that. We just edit like that, and yeah, we're done. So we can create, we can read, we can update, and we can delete, as we've just said. So let's dive right into setting up our project and doing some code. Let's dive right into it. Okay, so well, we can simply navigate to our web project, our web template. Then we simply choose a Blazor WebAssembly app. Okay, so we simply say next from there, and then yeah, we can give it a name, Learning Blazor. That's the name we're gonna give it. Then we can say next. So just make sure you type the name. We obviously, as I say, using .NET 5, but I think this method will also work for .NET 3.1. Okay, and then we just want to make our project an ASP.NET Core hosted project. So what this does is it's going to create 3 projects for us. So remember, we named our project Learning Blazor. So it's going to create Learning Blazor.client, Learning Blazor.saver, and Learning Blazor.shared. Okay, so we're going to have 3 projects. Let's just click create and see what happens. All right, so there we have our project. So it's still loading, and I guess you can see our dependencies there. We've got something that looks like a warning, but don't worry, it's going to take care of itself. Okay, so according to what I said, we have Learning Blazor.client, we have Learning Blazor.saver right there, and we have Learning Blazor.shared. Okay, so those are the 3 projects that we're going to have when we create a .NET, an ASP.NET core hosted web application. Okay, so first things first, we're going to delete some irrelevant things. But before that, let's just make sure that our project can actually run. All right, so we're simply going to strike F5 on the keyboard, or we can simply just, okay, let's just wait for it to load. Our startup project has to be Learning Blazor .saver. Okay, so we're supposed to see Learning Blazor.saver here. If not, then we can simply just click that drop down list. Okay, seems like the project has taken long to load. Okay, yeah, so we just choose that, and then we simply click the learning blazor.saver. Okay, so that's simply going to be our startup project. All right, so let's just wait for it to appear. There it is, learning blazor.saver. And now we can strike F5 and wait for it to load. All right, so our project starts building, and after a successful build, our project is going to run, and it's going to open our default browser. All right, so we have a default web application. The first thing that you're going to see when you create a Blazor WebAssembly project. Okay, so when your project runs, you should be able to see something like this. I guess you can see we have counter, so we can just change. We can just navigate from there, and we have fetch data. So those are the three pages that we have in our default Blazor WebAssembly application. Okay, web application. So on our counter, you can just try that. Click me. I think everybody that has used Blazor has tried this out a number of times. All right, so yeah, that's basically it. So we can just close this, and yeah, we can just close that too. All right, so that we can get back to our project. Okay, so as I was saying, we want to delete the irrelevant things that we have. We want to get rid of that default data, the APIs that are there in the project already, and all that. We just want something almost new. I'm not going to say something new because we're still going to use the layout, the navigation menu that has been given. So we're not building this from, like the ground up, from the scratch. We already have a basis. All right, that's the beauty with Blazor. Okay, so we can just delete that. Right click, delete, weather forecast.cs under Blazor, learning blazor.shared. Okay, so under your shared project, you just delete that weather forecast. Then under learning blazor.saver. All right, so if you gave this project any other name, just go to your project name.saver now, and simply going to controllers. Okay, so here we can simply just right click the weather forecast controller, and we say delete. All right, you can even use the button on the keyboard, it's fine. And the next thing that we're going to be deleting is well, there's nothing here. Under our client project, in my case it's learning blazor.client, we are going to delete all right, the survey prompt. Okay, so these are the things that we don't need. We can simply just say delete. All right, don't really need a preview of that, but it's okay. All right, so we can simply say okay to delete. And then the next thing is we'll go to our pages. All right, and we're going to delete the fetch data page and the counter page. Okay, so we're going to delete both pages. We'll just be left with our index page. Okay, so just be left with our index page. Right, something like that. Something like that. All right, and then the last thing that I want us to do is go to our navigation menu. All right, so nav menu dot razor. This one is in your client project under the shared folder. All right, so we just want to get rid of the study from here, going up to, okay, let's just delete up to here, so that we can use this other one for the page that we are going to create. Okay, so you try running your project now, and I guess you're going to see a number of differences. Okay, And then if your project fails to run, it's obviously because of this. We can also just get rid of that text there. Okay, so we just do that. All right, now when it runs for the second time, so I guess you can see the number of changes here on your home page. On our counter there, when we click our counter, it's just gonna tell us there is nothing at this address. Okay, so it's gonna load, but still gonna tell us there's nothing at this address. That's because we deleted the counter page. But if we navigate to the navigation menu, I guess we're still gonna find somewhere where we say counter. Okay, so that's why this is showing. So this is the navigation menu itself, this pane here on the left. So we can just close this, and then we can go to the next where we're going to be installing some NuGet packages for our project. Okay, so we can just close that. So in the next step here, we want to install some NuGet packages, okay, to our projects. So we're just going to go back to the Solution Explorer. All right, and this time around we want to insert some NuGet packages on the Saver project. So let's just right click leading Blazor.saver, and we should select manage NuGet packages. All right, so we simply select manage NuGet packages, and it should just open a new tab there. Right, so there we have it. And well, it might be uninstalled sometimes, and you can try to search. And by the way, for this you need an internet connection, an active connected internet connection. All right, so just make sure you're connected to the internet, an internet that's actually working. All right, so there we're simply just going to search. So remember, you have to be on browse. You don't have to be installed or installed or updates. You have to be on browse. Yeah, so here we're gonna search for entity framework call. All right, so well, I actually already have it here, so I can just use that. So Microsoft.entity framework call. All right, so we simply just got to download this or install it on our project. So we just click and then we say install. All right, so it's gonna give us two prompts that we just have to say okay and accept to. All right, so we just wait for it to load a little. We accept, and we go ahead and install the next one. So we're gonna install 3 packages on this project, the Saver project. Okay, so you just accept that. Okay, and okay, I saw some error. Let me just so when you double click on your project using Visual Studio, it takes you to where you can find your package references. So that NuGet package didn't install. We can simply say manage NuGet packages. Okay, so well, I think there is a problem with the version, so let's just install this one here. All right, so version 5, since we're using .NET 5, I guess, and we can just say install. All right, and we can say okay again, and we can say accept. All right, so this time we shouldn't have a problem because we're using great, we're using .NET 5, and we installed our entity framework call version 5.0.12. Okay, and the next NuGet package that we want to install is .tools. So just the way it is, entity framework call .tools this time. All right, so okay, so we just click that, and remember you want to change the version to 5.0. But if you're using .NET 6, don't worry, you can install the version 6 of all the NuGet packages that we're going to be installing, or the latest. Yeah, so you can say okay there, you can say accept. Okay, so these NuGet packages that we're installing will help us with a number of things. Entity Framework Core in general helps us with creating what we call migrations. Okay, so what we're doing in this video is code the code first approach. Okay, so code first approach. So we're coding first, then from our code we're going to generate a database. Okay, so we're not going to build a database using a database management engine. We are going to build a database automatically from our code. All right, so let's just okay, so yeah, I think we just waited for it to finish loading. Yeah, so our code uh, can be used to automatically generate a database. Okay, so we're going to see how fun that is. This time we want .sql server, so we can just search for .sql server. All right. Yeah, so this is according to the database provider that you're using. I'm using SQL Server, so I'm going to install SQL Server. You can use SQLite and yeah, many other providers. Okay, so we're just going to install that one as well. And after that, there's just one more package that we need to install, and we're going to be installing this one in the learning blazor.shared. Okay, so this video is dedicated to setting up your project. Okay, and in the next video we're going to start creating what we call our model classes, so the classes for our business logic. We're also going to create, yeah, we can just say okay to that. We're also going to create our application context. Okay, so our database context. We're also going to create we're going to register our database context in our startup class, and then we're also going to create a connection string. Then thereafter we're going to excuse me, yeah, so we're going to use our code. Okay, so the code to generate what we call migrations, and from those migrations we're going to create a database. Okay, so this might sound very odd for you, especially if it's your first time doing this. Yeah, but if you use C#, you use Blazor, guess you know what I'm talking about. All right, so okay, we have added okay, so right click there, and then we say manage NuGet packages. Yeah, so I added 3 packages in there. I guess you can see when we double click, so we just double click. I guess you can see we've added Microsoft Entity Framework Core tools, Microsoft Entity Framework Core SQL Server, Microsoft Entity Framework Core itself. Okay, so in here we're simply going to right click, and now we want to install Microsoft data annotation, something like that. So well, we can just search for annotations. Yeah, just search for annotations. Remember, we have to be under the browse tab. All right, so system, yeah, system.componentModel.annotations. Okay, so we can simply click that, and then we say install. So this one is going to help us with just putting attributes on our class members. All right. Okay, so in this video we've managed to insert some NuGet packages in our shared project, and also in our server project. So 3 in the server project and 1 in the shared project. And then we've also managed to clean up our project by deleting the unnecessary things that we don't need. And yeah, basically that's it. So in the next video, remember what I said. We're going to create our application database context. We're going to register that database context in our startup class in the server project. We're also going to create our connection string, which we're going to create in the app settings.json in our server project here. And then we're also going to create our model class. Then thereafter, in the same video, we're going to create migrations. And then after creating migrations, we're going to use those migrations to generate a database. Okay, so this might sound odd, but it's going to sound very familiar in the next video. See you there.